Welcome back. In the previous video, we explained the concepts of number portability lookups and how PortaBilling helps optimize lookup costs using internal and third-party data sources. If you missed that video, go check it out first. We'll link it in the description. In this video, I'll walk you through the step-by-step configuration of number portability lookups for voice calls and SMS using an external provider, Telnyx. Before we jump into the configuration, set up an account with Telnyx, the number portability service we'll be using in this demo. Telnyx provides lookups using the ENUM protocol, short for telephone number mapping. You can connect your preferred number portability provider, such as local one, as long as they support ENUM. Once your Telnyx account is ready, you'll need the IP address of Telnyx DNS server for ENUM lookups, your customer ID in the Telnyx system. This information is required to authenticate and perform lookups. Once you have that information ready, let's look through the configuration steps, all of which are done in the PortaBilling configuration server web interface. First one, enable the number portability framework. Define Telnyx as a number portability data source and save the configuration. Create rules for number portability lookup. In this demo, we'll set up a rule for voice calls to route all US number lookups to Telnyx. Fine-tune caching for optimization. Reuse lookup rules across environments. We'll reuse the rule from step 3 in a different virtual environment, this time for the messaging service. Save and apply the configuration. Let's dive into the configuration process. First, log into the configuration server web interface and clone the current configuration so you can safely apply changes. Then, search for the global option Number Portability Enabled and set it to Yes. This enables the lookup framework globally. Next, we'll configure number portability lookups for a specific virtual environment. Now let's add Telnyx as an external number portability data source. First, select the appropriate virtual environment. You can see multiple authoritative source sections. For example, to add your preferred ENUM-based provider, open Authoritative Sources ENUM. To use the internal PortaBilling database as a number portability data source, open Authoritative Sources Local. As you can see, there is a dedicated section for Telnyx, Authoritative Sources Telnyx ENUM. Click it to open the configuration options. Here we need to fill in the mandatory fields. Data provider, let's specify Telnyx. Server address, enter the IP of the Telnyx DNS server. Customer ID, paste your Telnyx customer ID. Let's leave the default time to leave values for these two options for now, and get back to this later at step 4. Once set up, click Save to make Telnyx available for use and lookup rules. Next, let's create a rule that tells PortaBilling to perform number portability lookups using Telnyx. We'll create a rule for voice calls to US numbers. Double-click here to open the Rules section and fill in the following details. Context service type, select Voice. Prefix, enter 1 to match all destinations in the North American numbering plan. Authoritative source, select the previously created source. This rule means that all outbound voice calls to US numbers will be checked against the Telnyx number portability database before routing. You can add additional number portability data sources and define multiple lookup rules. We covered the details in the previous video. You'll find the link in the description below. A customer dials a US number, which appears to be ported from T-Mobile to AT&T. PortaBilling checks the number against the lookup rules, finds the matching rule, and queries Telnyx. Telnyx returns the local routing number, and the call is routed to AT&T. The local routing number is used to calculate termination costs, and charges are applied based on TAT's rates. Now let's talk about caching and settings that give you more control over how long lookup results are stored, balancing freshness and cost efficiency. Whenever PortaBilling receives a lookup result from Telnyx or another provider, that result includes a value called TTL or time to live. The TTL tells PortaBilling how long it can keep the result before it needs to look it up again. By default, PortaBilling simply follows the details sent by the external provider, but you can fine-tune these with 2 optional settings. In the authoritative source Telnyx ENUM section, you can adjust these 2 settings. The first one, set the maximum time a result will be stored, even if the provider's TTL is longer. Why to use it? To avoid using outdated results. For example, if Telnyx returned a TTL of 12 hours and you set it to 1 hour, PortaBilling will only store the result for 1 hour. The second option, set the minimum time to keep a result, even if the provider's TTL is very short. Note that this setting applies only to ENUM-based data sources. Why to use it? To reduce the number of paid lookups and save on external requests. For example, if Telnyx returns a TTL of just 10 seconds and you set it to 2 hours, PortaBilling will keep the result for 2 hours. If the TTL value from the provider is not too short and not too long, just within the limits you set, PortaBilling will use it without changing it. Finally, keep in mind that cached lookup results can be shared across virtual environments only if those environments use the same number portability data source, such as Telnyx. Each virtual environment in PortaBilling can have its own number portability lookup setup, with separate sources and roles. If you're managing multiple environments, PortaBilling gives you the flexibility to relay routes from one environment to another. For example, let's say environment 1 already has 2 rules for voice calls. Lookups for North American numbers prefix 1 should go to Telnyx. Lookups for Spanish numbers prefix 34 go to the local database. Let's reuse these rules in environment 2 for SMS service. For this, we'll add environment 1 as a special relay authoritative source. Go to authoritative source relay. In relay context, enter the environment number followed by a dot, and then the service type. This literally means use the voice rules from environment 1. Then, create a single rule for environment 2. Select messages as this rule will be used for SMS. Leave the field rules prefix empty. PortaBilling will match each phone number against the prefixes defined in environment 1. For example, 1 for North America, 34 for Spain, and apply the corresponding rule. Select relay environment 1 voice as the authoritative source. That's it. The rules from environment 1 are now applied to environment 2. No need to configure everything manually. Once all your settings are in place, save and apply the configuration. That's it. PortaBilling is now ready to perform number portability lookups. Thanks for watching. If this helps you, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more PortaBilling tutorials. Got questions? Drop them in the comments. We'd love to help. See you in the next video.